Hello, how are you? We have tea, we have fairies, we have dolls' houses, dioramas and miniatures. We have slow stitching. We like relaxing. We are calm and fun. We are mindful and decorative. We enjoy chill time and me time and community time. We share joy. We like to share. We like quiet time. And we are creative. Welcome to Helen Kitty Cat Crafts. Well, hello, and how are you? I hope you've all excuse me. I hope you've all had a great week. So you're joining me today for another DIY My Chateau. I think this is number 16. And I'm going to be working on the front door because we all need a front door. Stops people getting in, stops people getting out. And how else is the postman going to deliver his letters? Postman Pat, Postman Pat. Come on, who remembers Postman Pat? I used to like the cat, black and white cat. Of course, if you see Postman Pat now, he's moved with the times. He's got a boat, a hovercraft boat. He's got a helicopter. He's got a plane. What a lucky postman he is. I don't know any postmen that have got that. It's quite cool, really. I do still prefer the old versions, though. What has happened to children's TV? I was quite happy with Magic Roundabout, Andy Pandy, Brambley Hedge. I love Brambley Hedge. It's one of my favourites. Anyway, I digress. So, I've put on a first coat of black acrylic paint. I started by giving it the door a light sanding so that the paint had something to key to, and I've put on a coat of black acrylic. It is Pebeo acrylic paint. I actually really like the Pebeo brand. The colours are quite a good consistency, and there is a huge variety of colour. So I've cut out some doweling, which actually it started off life as a bamboo skewer. So I've cut it to fit, cut 4 strips to fit where the window is going to go. And I am painting them in metallic gold. I really love this metallic gold. It's a really nice shade. So the idea is that I paint these 4 bits of wood and use them as beading to help hold in the acetate that is going to make the window. But we need to make sure that the black acrylic has got a really good coat on the door. Obviously, I've not done all this in one video. I painted it and then left it to dry for a few hours, and then I've now gone back to give it a second coat, and I painted the front and then let it dry, and then painted the back and let it dry, and then went back and did another coat on the front, and then went back and did another coat on the back, because these things take time. I am probably the most impatient person that I know, but I am learning patience. There's my little sticks on the drying rack. They will also need to be left to dry. So now I've got some acetate that is cut to fit the window space, and I am going to paint one side of this acetate with the same black acrylic paint. I'm only doing one side because the side with the paint on is going to be sandwiched against another piece of acetate, and I like to put the paint on the inside because I find that paint doesn't stick to acetate particularly well unless you don't want it to. And the reason that I'm using paint and not paper is because I want it to be reasonably transparent. So that is the first coat of black on the acetate. Now you have to be very careful with it because, as I say, I find that paint doesn't stick particularly well to acetate. So what I have got is this piece of scrapbook paper, and I really love this design, and I would have used it to make the window out of, but I wanted to be able to shine a light through the glass, and the paper, it wouldn't have that right effect, because it's too thick. So what I'm going to do is paint over the design onto the acetate. So I've got the paper, then I've got the acetate on the top of the paper that is cut to size, and I am following the design with gold acrylic paint, and I think it'll have a really nice effect. And once this design is finished and dried, I'm going to sit the pattern, the acetate with the pattern on top of the black, painted black acetate, so the gold will shine over the top of the black, and I think it'll look really, really nice. It's just going to take me quite a while to get this tiny little acetate window painted because I've got to go really slow and steady and be very careful because the design is quite intricate. Now this reminds me of a paisley design. I'm not quite sure what you would call it. I would call it paisley. It's pretty, whatever it is. And I'm going to follow it with the gold paint. Now I've never done this before. Well, I've painted on acetate before. I've never used a design and followed it with paint, so fingers crossed. But I'm sure it'll work out. quite relaxing just sitting and painting onto the acetate. I don't even really have to do a lot of thinking because I'm following the design that's on the paper. Hopefully it'll look really effective. The pattern on the paper is silver anyway. It is metallic silver. It's not got any texture to it. It's not embossed or anything. Of course, the beauty of this is that I'm painting onto the acetate, so I'm not going to be wasting the scrap paper because I can keep that for future use. Because there won't be anything on it because I'm painting on the acetate. So what are you all working on at the moment? I have got a few snippet rolls that I'm working on. I'm working on a design for my embroidery. I've also got some dioramas in the planning stage. I want to do old curiosity shop mini house, so that is also in the planning stages. All very exciting stuff coming up. I want to do a haunted house and a fairy garden, all in miniature. So excuse me. So if you think you might want to see those, then please do consider clicking subscribe. So now the black is dry and we are on the next day. I am going to fill in the panels with gold acrylic. Can you imagine having a gold front door? How decadent is that? I'm kind of aiming for Gilded Age, Victorian decadence, that kind of era. So around sort of 1900s, early 1900s. I love the Victorian era. Do you have a favourite era in time? No good. I'm going to have a swag of my coffee. I have a nice Starbucks caramel latte. I've got to keep my strength up while I'm doing all this painting, haven't I? Carefully does it. I hope you've not gone to sleep. Seriously, if you are fed up of watching me paint, just skip through the video. I won't be offended. We're going to do the big bit now. I am going to have to swap brushes in a while because although I need a fine brush to give better detail and to make sure that it it gives a good coat to where I need it to, you actually do get a smoother finish if you're using a slightly larger, softer brush. And there we are, all ready to sit and dry overnight. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, take care.